Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moment. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Renegade Immortal episode number 611 based on novel. So let's start. The Donglin sect in the illusion was beautiful under the early morning sun. The sunlight covered the sect and caused the shadows outside the Donglin temple to continue to shrink. The members of the Donglin sect were silently cultivating. They were all absorbing the power of the world to cultivate their bodies. The entire Donglin sect was like a bubble blown by a mortal child. It shined brightly in the world but was also fragile. It was as if it could break with the touch of a hand. The more beautiful something was, the more illusory it was. In the back mountain of this illusion, the birds sang and the fragrance of the flower drifted by. There were bursts of cheerful roars from small beasts, and there was a mighty altar built here. This altar was like a tower. It was 10,000 feet wide and 1,000 feet tall. It was made of blue stone and gave off a distinct sense of coldness. Above the altar, there was a platform about 1,000 feet wide, and there was a small pool at the center. The pool looked dry but still had a shallow layer of water. Ripples echoed in the water as the wind blew by. Some vegetation floated on the surface and moved with the ripples. Wang Lin stood outside the pool and looked at it with confusion in his eyes. Liu Jinbei stood behind Wang Lin, and his eyes turned as he looked around, but there was fear in his eyes. This damn place is not what I see now. Perhaps there is a skeleton under my feet. That pool of water seems clear, but it may actually be foul water with corpses soaking inside. The more Liu Jinbei imagined, the more terrified he felt. He was not afraid of the corpses, but of the unknown. While fearing the unknown, he didn't notice that the confusion in Wang Lin's eyes had become even stronger. Wang Lin looked at the pool and pondered for a long time. Why is it like this? Wang Lin closed his eyes and pictured the Donglin sect and the Donglin pool he saw in the dream. Why is this Donglin pool completely different from the dream realm created by the seven-colored celestial sovereign? The Donglin pool in the seven-colored celestial sovereign's memory was also here, but there was no altar and it was a large pool. However, this place, which is real, which is fake, Wang Lin opened his eyes and looked around with a gaze that could break all illusions. What he saw was greatly different from before. When he looked at the altar, it was ancient and covered in cracks. There were even dried spots of blood everywhere. Under his gaze, this area was surrounded by an aura of death. When he saw the pool, his gaze eased slightly. The pool hadn't changed. Aside from the pool of water, everything else around it changed. This should be the real Donglin pool. Looking at the altar, it has existed for a long time, but if so, why it is different from the memory of the seven-colored celestial sovereign? If this place never changed, then what changed was the seven-colored celestial sovereign. Wang Lin silently pondered. When he stepped into the Donglin sect on the immortal astral continent for the first time and not in the dream, a layer of fog appeared in his mind. He began to question his understanding of the cave world. Did I really control everything inside the cave world? The All-Seer's aura, those stone tablets. The seven-colored celestial sovereign's false memories. What kind of secret is hidden in all of this? This Donglin sect is no ordinary place. Grand Empyrean Donglin appeared here and then fell. Not even his body can be found. Who destroyed the entire Donglin sect? Was it the All-Seer? Was it the seven-colored celestial sovereign? Or was it someone with deep connections to the cave world that I missed? Wang Lin silently pondered. Wang Lin looked at the Donglin pool for a long time before he took a deep breath and walked toward it. Outside the pool, he looked down on the water surface and saw his own reflection. When he saw himself with his white hair and white robe, his body trembled. A rumble echoed through his mind and he seemed to remember something. One thing was very strange. I used to speculate about it. About my heaven-defying bead. Why was the seven-colored celestial sovereign able to take the heaven-defying bead from Grand Empyrean Dao Yi and teacher without attracting their attention? Why is it that in the cave world, Blue Dream and company, including the seven-colored Daoist, could see that I have the heaven-defying bead? But on the immortal astral continent, even now, no one has noticed it. Why did even my teacher, Xian Luo, not see through it when he went to the cave world? Perhaps he saw through it but didn't speak? If that is really the case, I have also met Grand Empyrean Dao Yi. Why did he not say anything or steal it? I'm more convinced they didn't see through it. What exactly is the heaven-defying bead? Who created the compass for the heaven-defying bead, and what is its use? Why can some people in the cave world see that I have it, but no one on the immortal astral continent can? When I absorbed the scorpion soul, the scorpion said, "White bead, white bead." Does that mean there is a black bead? What is inside it? If I can connect this matter with the destruction of the Donglin sect, perhaps I'll know what shocking secrets are hidden in the cave world. Wang Lin's expression changed as he looked around. In truth, I do have another method to see what happened to the Donglin sect, who destroyed it. But even Grand Empyreans can't divinate it. Even the Imperial teacher was confused for 3 days and lost his memory of it. Can I do it? Wang Lin hesitated for a moment, but soon, his eyes were filled with determination. This was not just something related to the Donglin sect, it was also related to him. After all, he came from the cave world and had the heaven-defying bead. Wang Lin originally thought he had removed the curtain, but he had only lifted a corner, it still covered his eyes. He was now going to pry open the invisible hands blocking his eyes and allow himself to see through the gap. Taking a deep breath, Wang Lin sat down next to the pool. He didn't look at the Donglin pool but at the Donglin temple in the distance. His aura seemed to disappear and he entered a strange state. Liu Jinbia was beside Wang Lin and suddenly turned around. Wang Lin had disappeared from his senses, but when he looked back, he could see him. However, he felt like Wang Lin didn't belong here, as if this world was rejecting Wang Lin. With my body fused with this world. With my divine sense assimilated with the void. With my soul, create a world, with my dream of the change in time, the fusion of Wang Lin's dream Dao and flowing time created a mysterious power that would allow him to return to the past like in the cave world. Wang Lin didn't know if others could do this, but out of all the people he had met, only he could use it, and he had to borrow the power of the Great Soul Sect's ghostly sail. When Wang Lin was immersed in the dream Dao, he silently lifted his right hand and waved. The ghostly sail appeared and rotated around him. A dream of thousands of years. In Wang Lin's dream, time reversed 1,000 years, 1,000 years, 1,000 years. Until even he forgot how much time had passed. The Donglin sect was still the Donglin sect. The mountain was still the same and the water was still clear. Countless disciples of the Donglin sect were cultivating in the same morning, causing the entire Donglin sect to be covered in a hazy mist. It was calm, it was peaceful. There were sounds of Dao lectures coming from the Great Hall, where many disciples were listening. In the distance, rays of light flew between the mountains and large amounts of celestial cranes were flying in the air. On the ground, there were small, captured beasts letting out cheerful cries. A beautiful woman was smiling as she fed the small beasts pills. Even further away, in the herb garden of the Donglin sect, the disciples were taking care of the herbs according to their teacher's commands. There were Donglin sect disciples walking up and down the stone steps of the mountain. When they met, they would respectfully bow if it was a senior. At the foot of the mountain, a few outer sect disciples were laughing as they carried buckets of water. They wiped the sweat off their foreheads. This quiet Donglin sect gave Wang Lin a familiar feeling. It was like a bubble that emitted a brilliant light. At the next instant, the sky darkened, but this didn't attract the attention of any of the Donglin sect disciples. However, at the next instant, the several disciples carrying the buckets of water trembled and fell to the ground. The fellow sect members greeting each other all let out miserable screams and then their bodies became bloody messes and corpses. In the sky, the herb garden, the small beasts, and the Dao lectures, miserable screams echoed. The entire Donglin sect was like a bubble, but at this moment, it was like a hand had touched the bubble, causing this beautiful bubble to pop. As soon as the bubble popped, all life inside died. As the people of the Donglin sect died, a blurry figure appeared in the sky, under the sun. This figure had the sun behind it, making it impossible to see clearly. Wang Lin raised his head in the dream to see the appearance of the figure. However, he only saw a blur, and then intense pain filled his head. This pain was something he had never experienced before and was far more intense than anything he had ever felt. Wang Lin suddenly opened his eyes. They were now bloodshot. His clothes were covered in sweat and his face was pale, as if he had lost some strength. A sense of weakness spread across his body. "Master!" Liu Jinbiao quickly walked up. His eyes were filled with shock and panic. "How long were my eyes closed for?" Wang Lin's breathing was rough, as if even breathing was difficult. He was like a mortal, and after a long time, he raised his hand, signaling he was fine. Liu Jinbiao hesitated for a moment and spoke the truth. You just closed our eyes and seemed to stop existing. I turned around to look at you and then you woke up. An instant?" Wang Lin was startled. He had used the dream Dao many times, and he was always immersed for a long period of time, never just an instant. He looked at Liu Jinbiao and silently pondered. The blurry image from the dream Dao appeared in his mind. He couldn't even see the other person's appearance, only an outline. He could only vaguely remember that a person had appeared. But thinking about it carefully, it was vague, as if he was remembering it wrong. He felt like someone had changed his memory. His mind trembled. If what I saw in my dream Dao is real, then who is he? Wang Lin thought about the pain and powerlessness he felt after awakening. He had never felt that kind of feeling before. He felt the illusion of death, and not even the 3-life spell could help. If he died, he would have really died. After a long time, Wang Lin gradually recovered. He sat there, looking at the Donglin sect, and his eyes slowly shined. One day, I'll know what secret is hiding inside. Wang Lin's eyes lit up and he stepped into the Donglin pool. When he sat down in the pool, the water was up to his waist. Wave of coldness entered Wang Lin's body. Inside the pool, Wang Lin took a deep breath and no longer thought about the secrets of the Donglin sect. He began to cycle his cultivation and seemed to fuse with the pool. He had experienced this kind of feeling before. However, now that he was actually integrated, Wang Lin suddenly entered a strange state. This strange state was similar to the state he was in when he created Sundered Night, however, now he had entered it by force with the help of the pool. In this state, Wang Lin was immersed in a sense of confusion. It felt like a long time had passed, or maybe just an instant. Wang Lin opened his eyes and there was a hint of confusion in them. He recovered a moment later and looked down at the pool below him. It had lost 30% of its water. Before Wang Lin asked, Liu Jinbiao said, "Master, 3 breaths of time has passed, from closing your eyes to awakening." Wang Lin nodded. "Failed. I only stayed in that state for 3 breaths, but nothing." Wang Lin frowned. He faintly felt that the many essences in his body had gained a bit of strength, but not much. The Donglin sect's ancestor said that the Donglin pool is related to the foreign cultivator sealed here. There is a chance to comprehend the special essence that foreign cultivator had. I didn't even see what his essence was and I failed the first time. The Donglin sect's ancestor said that one only has 2 chances to enter the Donglin pool and will die on the 3rd time. Why will you die? If I can figure that out, perhaps I can try a few more times, Wang Lin pondered as he sat inside the pool and closed his eyes again. The moment he closed his eyes, he entered that strange state once more. This time, Wang Lin seemed to enter a state of confusion. Everything became a blur and even his mind became muddled. He could vaguely feel a strange force enter his body. However, he could only feel it but had no chance of catching it. After an unknown amount of time, the confused Wang Lin suddenly saw a ray of light in his left eye. This light was very weak. If one didn't look closely, it would be impossible to see. This light immediately attracted Wang Lin's attention, but he could only see it in his left eye. The vision in his right eye was still blurry and he couldn't see anything with it. This strange change caused Wang Lin's heart to tremble, but he still focused on the light in his left eye. However, the light was very far away. Before he could clearly grasp it, he awakened from that state. The moment he opened his eyes, Liu Jinbiao's words entered his ears. Master, this time it was 5 breaths. Wang Lin looked at the sky in the distance and pondered for a long time. The light he saw with his left eye was still in his mind. My left eye could see, but my right eye couldn't. This Donglin pool is more difficult than I imagined. Wang Lin looked at the pool. Now it had less than 30% of its water left. I wonder if this pool water will appear again when it's used up. In addition, I have tried to comprehend twice and failed both times. On the third try, I wonder what kind of danger there will be. Wang Lin pondered and then waved his right hand. The golden exalt sea dragon flew by and hovered around him. It had shrunken a lot. The golden exalt sea dragon appeared and immediately stared at Liu Jinbiao viciously. It let out a low growl and looked very proud. Liu Jinbiao was startled. Looking at the sea dragon, he gasped. However, his eyes turned and a smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. It was unknown what ideas had appeared in his mind. Wang Lin didn't pay attention to them. He sent out a message to the sea dragon to immediately pull him out if something seemed wrong. He closed his eyes and immersed himself in that strange state for the third time. When Wang Lin entered the strange state and the strange force inside the water entered his body, a rejection force gathered. This turned into a roar that echoed through his mind. This roar was extremely loud and contained a sense of madness and unwillingness. Lian Yunjue, you're despicable. This voice echoed inside Wang Lin's mind rapidly. It seemed to turn into a roaring thunderclap, causing his body to tremble. He felt like this voice was going to make his mind collapse. Under the interference of this sound, he was unable to immerse himself in this state and was unable to comprehend. Just at this moment, a powerful force came from the outside. It was as if a giant claw had grabbed Wang Lin and pulled his body out from the Donglin pool. After leaving the pool, the voice in Wang Lin's mind disappeared. Wang Lin opened his eyes and looked at the pool. His expression became gloomy. It is indeed impossible to comprehend a third time. If I hadn't prepared in advance and hadn't been warned by the Donglin sect's ancestor, although it wouldn't have been dangerous, it would have still taken some effort to leave. Wang Lin frowned as he looked at the little remaining water left in the Donglin pool and pondered. Why were the first and second times different from the third time? That voice came from the mysterious force that entered my body from the pool after cycling once. Could this be the key? The force is checking how many times I have entered the pool. Then how does it judge how many times I have comprehended? And also, that Lian Yunjue, surname Lian. Could that be the madman's ancestor, the name of the celestial ancestor? Wang Lin's eyes shined and he looked at the pool. As he pondered, water slowly appeared in the pool until all the lost water had recovered. Jin Biao, go down and try. Wang Lin was confident that he could protect Liu Jinbiao even if he went down a third time. He told Liu Jinbiao of the danger to pay attention to. Liu Jinbiao didn't hesitate to step forward and sit down inside the pool. After 4 breaths of time, he opened his eyes in confusion. I saw a ray of light, Liu Jinbiao muttered and then closed his eyes again. This time, he spent 5 breaths. When he opened his eyes, there was a clear flash of light in his eyes, but it quickly disappeared. Very close to that light, but couldn't grasp it, Liu Jinbiao pondered for a bit and then closed his eyes again. He attempted to comprehend a third time, following Wang Lin's order. Wang Lin watched Liu Jinbiao closely, and time slowly passed. 1 breath, 2 breaths, 3 breaths. Until the 10th breath, when Liu Jinbiao's body began to tremble violently. Wang Lin moved Liu Jinbiao out of the pool without hesitation. While trembling, Liu Jinbiao's left eye shined brightly. Even when Wang Lin looked at it, it felt like he was looking at the sun. I touched the light and a voice echoed inside my heart, telling me the name of the light. This is the absolute beginning. The beginning of everything. But my cultivation level is not high enough, so I only comprehended a little before I couldn't bear it anymore. Liu Jinbiao took a deep breath and looked at the Donglin pool. Master, I feel that the reason I was able to comprehend it a third time was because of my Tao of deception. In that instant, I deceived myself, telling myself it was my first time entering. By doing this, I deceived the search from the pool. Ever since I awakened from my reincarnation, I've been able to exert my Tao of deception on others. Does Master want to try? Liu Jinbiao seemed to have comprehended something, and he looked at Wang Lin. Wang Lin pondered for a bit and then shook his head. He had an understanding of the Tao of deception and had also comprehended a bit in the dream Tao. He knew the method, and with his cultivation level, he didn't need Liu Jinbiao's help. With one step, Wang Lin immersed himself in the pool of water for the 4th time. When the strange force entered his body, he used the Tao of deception to deceive the water and immersed himself in that strange state. Soon, he saw the light in his left eye. The light moved closer and closer to him. A low voice muttered in Wang Lin's mind, "I have walked through the world and watched hundreds of millions of sunrises and comprehended the absolute beginning essence." As the voice echoed in Wang Lin's mind, the light he saw in his left eye became even brighter. It was as if his whole body was shrouded by this shining light. A comprehension toward the absolute beginning gradually emerged as Wang Lin was shrouded by this light. This was not an inheritance, but a display of the complete absolute beginning essence before Wang Lin. How much one could comprehend had nothing to do with the Donglin pool, it all depended on the individual. Perhaps some people could see the light the first time and would gain a comprehension of the absolute beginning. Perhaps after they left, a seed of the absolute beginning would appear in their heart. Some people would be like Wang Lin, who obtained nothing and their essence's strength increased a bit. But some people might obtain a majority of the comprehension of the absolute beginning essence in just 2 attempts. They wouldn't just take away a seed, but a germinated seed. Wang Lin didn't know if anyone had ever taken away the complete absolute beginning essence. At this moment, he was immersed in a strange state and seemed to have forgotten everything around him. The vision of his left eye was blurry, but his left eye contained the stages of the special absolute beginning essence. Wang Lin had forgotten the passage of time. When he was forced to awaken by the force inside the Donglin pool, the light in his left eye lasted 1 breath before disappearing. Still need a bit more. Wang Lin's eyes shined brightly as he closed his eyes to comprehend inside the pool for the 5th time. He immersed himself and used the Tao of deception to avoid the inspection of the pool. This time, Wang Lin instantly saw the endless light before his left eye. Absolute beginning was born from the void. A long time ago, before there were celestials, the ancients looked at the sun and worshipped it to obtain its heat. As a result, the power of absolute beginning appeared. This power is very mysterious. It manifested when the ancients worshipped the sun for the first time and when the sun first appeared. The absolute beginning power gradually changed. As the time passed and mysterious people appeared, the ways of the heavens changed until the law of absolute beginning appeared. The law of absolute beginning caused the sun to rise and fall. However, as I observed, I comprehended that the rise and fall of the sun was due to one's heart. Because the heart moves, the earth moves, so the sky moves. Then even the immobile sun began to move up and down. I continued to comprehend and watch the sun rise countless times. I comprehended the origin of the rising sun. This absolute beginning essence was the source of all heat from light. Wang Lin was immersed in this voice, and he clearly saw the light in his left eye completely shroud him. In that light, it was as if he was watching hundreds of millions of sunrises. During the hundreds of millions of sunrises, Wang Lin felt an aura. This aura was a straightforward and righteous existence. Those that were immersed in this aura had to be a righteous people. They might not hold up the world, but they would be people who could live with all their decisions. After a long time, Wang Lin opened his eyes from the 5th comprehension. When he opened his eyes, the light in his left eye lasted for dozens of breaths before slowly dissipating. When Liu Jinbiao saw Wang Lin's light, his heart trembled, not daring to look at it. Even the golden exalt sea dragon avoided the light. In Wang Lin's left eye, under the light, the outline of a sun slowly formed. However, when the light dissipated, the outline was unable to take shape. I'm not a stranger to the absolute beginning. Back in the cave world, when I created Sundered Night, it contained the power of the absolute beginning. Since then, my comprehension gradually increased. Then, when I arrived on the immortal astral continent, my Sundered Night contained faith. I didn't expect this absolute beginning to also produce an essence. An essence is something that you understand to such a profound degree that you see through it and use it with a wave of your hand, Wang Lin muttered as he immersed himself in the Donglin pool for the 6th time. Time passed. Wang Lin immersed himself in the Donglin pool. As the amount of time increased, the time he stayed each time increased greatly. On the 2nd day, right before daybreak, while the sky was still dark, Wang Lin opened his eyes inside the Donglin pool. His left eye released endless light and a sun appeared inside it. The sky was originally dark and the sun hadn't appeared yet, it would still need some more time to appear. However, when Wang Lin's eyes opened, the light from his left eye shined. It was as if Wang Lin had replaced the sun and dispelled the darkness from the world half an hour early. Comprehending the absolute beginning essence means you can control the rising of the sun and reverse night and day. My sundered night was only a spell before, but now, after comprehending the absolute beginning, it can replace the run. Wang Lin muttered as the light from his left eye enveloped his entire body. Liu Jinbiao and the sea dragon had both long retreated and didn't dare to get close. Wang Lin was covered in the light that was bright like the rising sun as he flew up into the sky. In the process of rising, the darkness in the sky dissipated layer by layer as if it were retreating. The darkness over the earth seemed to melt under the rising sun formed by Wang Lin, revealing the earth below. When the sunlight from Wang Lin's sun swept over the Donglin temple and shrouded it in light, the Donglin sect's ancestor sitting inside opened his eyes. He looked at the light outside the temple and silently pondered. Even I can't tell if this light that dispelled the darkness is the real sun or a spell. He has comprehended it. As Wang Lin rose into the air, the world became bright and all the darkness dissipated. This process lasted about 1 incense stick of time, then the real rising sun slowly appeared in the distance. At this point, 2 suns were in the sky. Wang Lin turned around and looked at the rising sun behind him, and his eyes shined brightly. He watched the sun rise high up into the sky before he closed his eyes. Is this the absolute beginning essence? I understand. The light around Wang Lin dissipated and he closed his eyes. He stood in the sky for a whole day. Only after the sun fell and the world was gradually engulfed by the darkness of night did Wang Lin's body slowly sink back into the pool. If the absolute beginning is the sunrise, then there must be another special essence that controls the sunset. Wang Lin's eyes lit up and he immersed himself inside the Donglin pool. This time, when he used the Donglin pool, his left eye shined brightly, but the vision in his right eye was still blurry. Nothing could be seen. If what I see in my left eye is the light of the rising sun, then my right eye must see the darkness of nightfall. Soon, Wang Lin awakened, but he didn't give up and tried again and again. It wasn't until it was late into the night, when the entire world was silent, that Wang Lin closed his eyes and immersed himself in the Donglin pool. The vision in his right eye was no longer blurry but gradually became dark. This darkness formed a sharp contrast with his left eye. In this contrast, Wang Lin's mind seemed to be divided in half. One represented the light of the rising sun and the other represented the darkness after the sun sets. I walked through the void and saw the darkness after the sun sets. After the absolute beginning comes the absolute end. The absolute end essence represents all darkness. The low voice echoed inside Wang Lin's mind again and lingered. Time passed. Wang Lin had stayed in the Donglin pool for 3 months. During these 3 months, whenever the sun rose, he would rise into the sky and turn into the sun that dispelled the darkness. When the sun set, he would silently sit in the pool, watching the night devour the light. 3 months of time, hundreds of sunrises and sunsets. Thanks to the strange sensation from the Donglin pool, Wang Lin slowly gained a profound understanding of the absolute end essence. However, unlike the absolute beginning, 3 months was far from enough for him to obtain the absolute end essence. Due to this, he had gained initial mastery over the absolute beginning essence, and his understanding became even more profound after 3 months. However, he was still sensing and grasping the absolute end essence. Wang Lin was in no rush to leave. He decided to live here and observe the changes of day and night. Sometimes, he would immerse himself inside the Donglin pool to comprehend. Just like this, 8 years passed in a flash. During these 8 years, no new guest had come to the Donglin sect, and the Donglin sect's ancestor hadn't come to disturb Wang Lin. Wang Lin passed these 8 years in peace. During the 8 years, Liu Jinbiao had used some unknown method and got along with the Golden Exalt Sea Dragon very well. It even allowed Liu Jinbiao to sit on its back and take him out to see the world. After 8 years, 5 more years passed. This video will end here.